people. He was given plenty of opportunities. Plus, he's been called Yahweh. He's been called Jehovah. In the Bible. So how do
Elohim?
Yeah. So Elohim. No, Elohim are those who descended from the sky. So I've never heard a God referred to as Elohim.
There's a whole section in the Hebrew culture which is focuses on Elohim as the deity, and but the essence that we're talking about is that yes, He is inside us, and He is ready to communicate to every person on the planet. He is already doing this with the animals. And He is already doing this with every other living creature, plants, whatever. But the animals are already connected, and we're the only ones that are lagging behind.
Yeah. In Genesis it says, "And God created us in our image, in His image, in His likeness." To me, that has always proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that we ourselves are God's, because we're in His likeness, we're in His image. So we are His creations, and if we are His creations, then we are He.
The interesting thing in what you say, Rob, is that, and this is of course part of the story of A New Curtain Opens, and when you think of ourselves as gods, what you need to learn is that the I am that is inside you, the great I am that is inside you, is the God force, is the deity, and is the creator. So that when we make our connection to Him, and of course this is Joshua, and I use the name Joshua because that as the son of the great I am, and I use that because in the Aramaic that was his name.
So it wasn't Jesus?
That's a Greek translation of the Aramaic is Jesus.
Oh, gotcha. So his real name was
his
Joshua.
Real name was Joshua, and it's amazing that Mel Gibson was the first one in modern times to focus on that. But Joseph Berzon in his book Joshua does a beautiful job of talking about his life. But the point is that he is trying to tell us constantly. That's the central theme of his message, and he says it over and over and over and over again. I am in you and you are in me. God is in me and God is in you. And he says that in so many different ways throughout his ministry, and he's desperate to get people to make that connection. And yet the Hebrew people share with him on the mount with when he feeds 10,000 people with 3 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And then he turns around and he's trying to explain to them this whole fact that the great I am is inside you. And what do? They walk away.
Yeah.
And
by the way, I owe you an apology. You were right about Elohim. I had my words mixed up. I was thinking Nephilim. So my apologies.
Oh, it's okay. My studies have taken me in all of the sacred texts, and I've worked with Zoroastrianism, from everything from Zoroastrianism to everything that's happening today.
So why are we in such a confused state about the Bible and about what really happened? Why does it have to be so glorious? Why can't it be the real way it was?
The problem with Scripture and any Scripture, and all of them actually, is they're trying to communicate something that people aren't really ready to step aside and do. Okay. But ask yourself this question.
Sure.
You got to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
And every religious culture that has developed on the planet and you see a smattering of that in A New Curtain Opens when the book discusses this. But it all goes back to creation. And if you stop and realize that the creation story exists in every one of the faiths throughout the world, every one of them, and they're all trying to describe the same basic thing. They're trying to describe man's relationship, and when I say man, I'm using the generic term, men and women.
Yeah.
That they're trying to describe the relation with the great I Am. And the interesting thing here is, right in the Judeo-Christian texts, you have the story focusing on Adam and Eve and the temptation of the serpent. Now, it's rather interesting. What does the serpent give Eve, who then gives it to Adam? And the tree from which the apple is taken is called the tree of truth and knowledge. Isn't that interesting? Now, if I say to you, what is original sin? Well, it was the eating of the apple. Wait a minute. It's not just the eating of the apple. What was it that the serpent gave you? The serpent gave you 10% of your mind and tried to feed you a line of baloney that he was giving you the whole thing. And actually, the other thing that he gave you was the ego. Mm-hmm. So now you've got only 10% of your mind that is actually functioning, and an ego which is trying to drive everything, and it spends all of its time trying to convince you that it is right and the rest is
well,
not.
You know what? We have to take a commercial break here. We have to take a commercial break. Please stand by. And I don't know if we can I don't know if we can really blame a snake for the way mankind turned out. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. Hi, this is Rob McConnell, just letting you know that the X-Chronicles newspaper is now available online at www.xzonebookclub.com. All past editions and current editions of the X-Chronicles newspaper are available for 99 cents. That's www.xzonebookclub.com, and that's 99 cents U.S. per edition. And don't forget, the X-Zone store is now open as well for all of your X-Zone Nation merchandise. www.thexzonestore.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
This is Elizabeth Joyce with Stargazing week of September 15th through the 21st. This week brings abundant social opportunities and you feel a bit talkative. Talk to a wide variety of people but don't believe everything you hear. It's a good time to explore numerous ideas, projects, and philosophies, but know that not all of them will come down to earth for you. There isn't much to say about this week except that it will be pleasant. Expect invitations, travel, and meeting new people. With this overflow of advantageous energy, the week invites you to set your intentions on hope and satisfaction. Every day energy has been low recently, and you're feeling that it's been hard to know how to focus where your attention should be. With Mars entering Sagittarius, clarity comes. You are in a take-charge mode, ready to take on a challenge, and willing to put yourself out in order to get what you want. This is a powerful time for attracting romance and creative attention. There may be some competitive feelings between you and a significant other now. Focus on reconciliation, forming or cementing bonds, diplomacy, consultation, one-on-one interactions, and negotiations. You may feel a little drained physically temporarily. Belief that you have been uncertain about suddenly become clear at the end of the week. Friendships may be intense, but instead of brooding over problems, you're motivated to make important changes that bring you closer to resolution on long-standing problems. Remember, conflicts are not set in stone, and most easily can be resolved with just a change of attitude. When it comes to income, you're challenged to think outside the box in order to come up with viable plans to improve your finances, and this theme will be with you through the end of the year. Don't limit yourself when it comes to thinking up novel and unique ideas. New technology or methods can really improve your daily life. There may be sudden discoveries or epiphanies that can help you improve your lifestyle, particularly with health and wellness. You may feel a challenge with authority or a desire to break out of financial restrictions this week. Be sure to apply a large dose of common sense to any dreams or schemes, and you could be in for a wild ride and a memorable adventure. If you don't, you're going to be kicking yourself all the way through October. A Leo moon on the weekend has you wanting to spend time in social situations where you can open your heart without concern. It's a warm and generous time. Sunday night, the night before the fall equinox, is a kind of an odd time. The moon moves into Virgo late in the evening, which supports service, simplicity, and accomplishing your list of tasks. At the same time, Neptune is busy, especially in the evening, and that is a space-out and daydream kind of energy. So part of you wants to work and part of you can't get it together. Watch a movie Sunday evening. That's a Neptune activity. Enjoy.
And for more information on Elizabeth Joyce, or if you'd like to contact Elizabeth for a one-on-one consultation, her website is www.new-visions.com. That's www.new-visions.com. My guest this hour, Exonation, is Richard P. Mathews. He's the author of A New Curtain Opens. It's available at www.revitalizingministries.com. Richard, how can we really blame a snake so many years ago for the way we've ended up today? Isn't that just passing the buck?
Well, it's more than just passing the buck. And, I mean, it's not just the snake, it's the woman. And it's like any story. You try to find something that you can use to fold the story around in order to make the story work. But you have to look at what is behind the message. And of course, in the Judeo-Christian culture, it happens to be the snake that is the symbol of all of this. And when I was a young boy, I used to collect snakes and study them, and was very interested in reptiles in general. And they're another creature, just like any other animal or any other being on this planet, and they are not the culprit. The culprit is our rational mind, and you have to realize that that when that story gets told, they're trying to say what the rational mind is and what it is doing. And it is basically fooling you. And it is doing that every day. And as long as you stay in your head and you don't try to relate to your body and connect with the great I Am who is within you, as I lay out in A New Curtain Opens. So the snake is not the enemy here. What is the enemy? And we try notice that our mind has taken us away from that, so that we talk about a snake instead of talking about our mind, and yet our mind is the culprit.
Well,
our ego is the culprit.
Well, shouldn't the Creator also take some of the blame